Thank you for tuning in to Voice of Reason Boston. Today, have Oasis Coalition. It's an organization that feeds people in the community who are underserved, and they're just going to be talking about what it is that they do in the community, how they got involved, and what it is that we can do as a whole to help them continue to do the work that they're doing. Good morning, Josh and Kate. How are you?
Good morning.
Thank you for coming in today. And if you can tell me, Josh, a little bit about yourself and how you got involved with Oasis Coalition.
So, I transferred from. Well, my name's Josh, but I transferred from Wentworth Institute of Technology to Suffolk University back in late 2014 and 2015 semester, and I always wanted to get more involved with outreach programs because that's something I did a lot with my parents growing up.
Right.
So I went to the Community Center for Engagement, and this was the first thing I signed up for, which was the Monday Night Dinner hosted by the Oasis Coalition of Boston. And since that time, I've been part of the organization. We serve every Monday, and I'm great friends with the leaders. Our leaders are Jen and Craig, president and vice president. And they, being part of this organization, has been one of the best events in my lifetime.
Right.
And that's generally how I got involved.
And Kat, what about yourself?
So I'm currently a student at Suffolk University, so same way through the Center of Student Community and Engagement. So I got involved, and I love that you can really see the impact of what you're doing. Obviously, there's tons of different organizations you can choose to volunteer at.
Right.
But I just, you really connect with the community. You're face to face, and I really love the dignity that this organization provides to the people that it provides its services to. So I really liked it.
That's awesome. How did, do you know how Oasis Coalition came about, like the history of it?
So the Oasis Coalition of Boston was used to be called years ago Neighborhood Action, and it was ran by a guy named David Fisher, who's an ex-lawyer from the UK. He lives on Beacon Hill. He's a great guy, and he's actually still on our board now. And in 2009, they turned to the Oasis Coalition and pretty much got into partnership with the Church on the Hill. And they were there for a long time until this past year when Church on the Hill is going through their own transition, and so we need to find a new space. And after a long period with Church on the Hill, a great relationship that they still support us, we moved down the street to Old West Church, where we're now located. And the Oasis Coalition has its own board, its own corporate governance and all that, but we're really just focused on helping people and feeding people in the community. And we turned into the Oasis Coalition to get our name out there.
Right.
Going from more of a private name to more of a charity with a 501c3 designation by the IRS that we can take donations in and be able to give back and register for grants and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, because there is a lot of people in the community who are underserved and don't have a place to stay. I know I went to the City of Boston website, and the 38th annual consensus says that the homeless rate went down by 3%. I believe it was around in 2017. And this is just a collaborative of people like parents, family, veterans. So those are all included. That it was about 6,300 people who were homeless last year, and now in 2008 it's about 6,100. So that's not bad. There's still a lot of work to do, and we like organizations like yourself that are doing and trying to reduce the rate of homelessness in the city of Boston. But I know that you told me about the community, about the coalition. Have you ever been impacted or know anyone personally that have been impacted by being homeless, not having anything to eat in the community or anywhere?
me personally, no, I've never been homeless, and I can't understand what that situation is like. And, you know, as another side remark is because we've been around so long, we've seen people for years,
Right.
the same people for years, and we see how it affects them. But no, I've never been homeless. Growing up, you know, my parents first moved here from Venezuela. There was a little bit of struggle to make ends meet,
Mhm.
and I remember growing up during those times, and you know, thankful for my parents. You know, they weren't homeless. They busted their butt. But when they got the chance, when they were better off themselves, they got the chance. They immediately started helping out others, and you know, giving back to the community, or you know, giving back at their clinic, or you know, donating. And growing up from a young age, I saw how my parents were with other people, and I looked up to that and wanted to do something like that growing up myself.
What about you, Kat?
I've also not been directly impacted by homelessness. I know several people who got kicked out of their homes,
Mhm.
and so they weren't homeless in terms of that they were on the street, but they were homeless in that they didn't have a home, they couch surfed or lived with friends and stuff
Right.
like that. And that can be super difficult too, and that's a form of homelessness. And I really think just living in our community, when you see people around, you just, you know, you want to help people. You want to do
Exactly.
something to help people that might be less fortunate.
Do we know what homeless looks like? Like, what are the forms of being homeless?
Well, the thing about the Oasis Coalition is it's also not just homeless people. It's sometimes people that are just on the line,
Mm-hmm.
and they're looking to make ends meet. A meal here or there can really help them
Right.
with their budget. I know we have a young family that comes in too, and it's tough for them. You walk around Boston, homelessness, it's kind of, it takes on different shapes and forms. In the summer,
Mhm.
they're hot and they can't get relief from the heat. And in the winter, especially in New England winter, you know, they're in the corner trying to get shelter any way they can while we're just walking by, going by our day.
Right.
And it's a dichotomy. It's a completely different life. And you see that, and none of us can ever really understand it until you're in
Mhm.
that situation. But it's like a cycle. You're in it. You can't get out of it. And not only that, you're dealing with the ups and down climate here in New England.
Mhm.
So it's I would say it's just chaos for them, you know. And we try to provide an atmosphere where it's, when they come in here, maybe you can leave some of the baggage outside and just, you know, feel some dignity again and get a nice warm meal.
And it's good to know that because with being homeless, it comes with a lot emotionally, mentally, physically. People just don't know, and it triggers something that can cause some type of mental health effect on you and the people that are around you. And, you know, it's unfortunate that, you know, we have people who are homeless. We should be doing more as a community. I remember when I was working in downtown, every morning I would get on the train, drive my car, park, get on the train, and get to work. And I would walk through downtown, and I would just say prayers in my heart for the people that I saw, especially when it's cold. They're sleeping on cardboards, excuse me, and then some of them may have like just bananas they're selling just to find food, because we know if you go downtown to purchase, say, some McDonald's, with some fries and drinks, that's like almost $5 to $8, and that's like nothing. That's very expensive for someone who don't have money to make ends meet. But I would always say a prayer, because sometimes we complain about certain things that are not going right in our lives. We complain about, oh, I don't like this shoe, I want to get a new pair of shoes, I need new clothes. But we have the luxury to do that. But we tend to forget that there is someone who is sleeping out in the street that would do anything to be in the position that we're in.
Exactly. Perspective. It really,
And that really touched me. I always made sure that every time I'm walking downtown, I say a special prayer for those that I see that are affected by homelessness, because it's really hard. It's really hard. And I try to not complain in my life, because it could always be worse.
I think the thing to note as well with that is that homelessness takes like a lot of different forms,
Mhm.
and that people who come to these dinners, they're not only the people who might have to sleep on the street,
Mhm.
but like, you know, everyone is just a few unfortunate events away from homelessness. Like, if you lose your job, if you have unforeseen medical expenses, if somebody dies, there's a natural disaster,
Right.
anything like that. Like, it's
Unexpected
right.
changes.
And like the thing is that a lot of people, it's kind of like, oh, like we're here and they're over there and they're completely different.
Mhm.
But like that's not the case at all. It's really anybody could end up in that situation.
Right.
And you have to go in with that perspective, and like that's why you have to try to help. You want to, because you know that it could be anybody.
Mhm.
And so you just, yeah.
And what is the vision and the mission for Oasis Coalition?
So for decades, we've been working with the community to try to help provide nutritious meals for the community in need. And it's really for anybody. It's for anybody who wants to come in, who needs it, who wants it, anything. You can come volunteer, you can come be part of the dinner, anything like that. And really the goal is just to help provide some relief, to give a meal. There's no questions asked. You don't have to prove anything. It's really, and it's like a really dignified atmosphere as well. For example, like in other soup kitchens, you might have the people lining up and coming and getting
Right.
soup or whatever it is. But here it's really anybody can come in, they can come sit down, and then the volunteers will come and serve them. And if someone doesn't want salad or doesn't want chicken or doesn't want something, we do that for them. We customize it for them. It's really to just get people what they want. It's just a really dignified, nice, family-friendly environment.
Okay, and when you say community, it's not only for people in Boston. You accept people from everywhere,
Anywhere,
any
yeah.
community. The location is just in Boston.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
location is
Yeah.
in downtown Boston. It's in Old West Church on 131 Cambridge Street, but anybody can go. The greater Boston area is generally of the people who come, but anybody can come.
So you don't there's no discrimination. You don't look out of appearance.
Not at
appearance.
all.
You just accept everyone and anyone. If you're looking for a meal, come in and get some.
Absolutely.
We don't even take a name down.
Right.
We just say, hey, come in. You know, coffee's over there. Take a seat where you can find it.
That's
we
awesome.
have more people. We break out more tables, but
Mm-hmm.
it's a dinner. That's what we pride ourselves on. That is because you lose your dignity when you're out there.
Exactly.
You're out there. You're asking for handouts, or you're down on yourself. And when you come in here, we want you to feel, like people.
hmm
And we try to treat people that way.
Yeah, and sometimes people, unfortunately, when you're homeless, people don't want to have nothing to do with you. They don't want to talk to you, and they just look at you like you're nothing. And that feeling is dehumanizing, and it's just terrible for someone to even feel that. How often do the coalition serves food?
It's every Monday night. So Monday nights, the doors open at around 5 and people come in and sit. And then we start serving by 6.
Okay.
And it's every single Monday night. It doesn't matter if it's like a holiday or if it's something, obviously like homelessness and hunger don't take a vacation. So it's every single Monday night.
And how do you get resources for your food to help feed people who are, in need? And, how do you pick out the food, make sure it's healthy, and what type of food that you pick for people to eat?
So, we have a relationship with the different colleges in the area, especially Suffolk University, which is a huge relationship
That's
for
awesome.
us.
Yeah.
And they're going to actually be sponsoring a meal specifically. Sodexo is going to be their kitchen staff is going to be sponsoring a meal once a month now.
Oh, that's great.
But we get our resources obviously from monetary donations, and our leaders, Jen and Craig, they make those decisions on what the meal is going to be. They source it. Sometimes they pre-cook it. We come in and help cook it, during the day as well. But we're constantly in contact about what the meal is going to be. St. John's Westwood comes, and they also donate. St. Joe's also, they lend us their kitchen. Church and Hill obviously lends us their kitchen. Old West Church, our host, sponsors every 5th Monday.
Okay.
So we get sponsors from other churches, other communities. Our volunteers always come from different colleges in the area, or just people that have heard of us. We get people from down the street. They just moved in,
Oh, wow.
and they heard of us and they just want to come volunteer. And we just say, just wash your hands, put on some gloves, and
Come
help me
help.
cut these tomatoes, and let's go.
That's awesome. Now, I know that you're providing food, but we also want to make sure people are eating healthy.
Right.
So what kind of protein and other kinds of food sources that you provide?
So unfortunately, we can't always be super,
Super
healthy.
healthy,
You know,
yeah.
we can't
Try your best.
go like superfoods and all that, but we do focus on a lot of protein and a lot of carbohydrates,
To
and
keep
we
them
do
full.
have these
Yeah.
amazing salads. We have huge amounts of salads, and we at least go around with seconds or thirds of salad, and people do love it.
Yeah.
So stuff like chicken, we've had steak and cheese in the past. We have a lot of different meals. Shepherd's pie once.
Mm, you're making me hungry.
Yeah, yeah. It's really they love it. It's one of their favorites.
That's awesome.
And we try to get seconds and thirds, and then we come around with desserts. At the end of the month, we have a birthday cake to celebrate all the birthdays that passed during
Oh,
that month that
wow.
we hand out. And then sometimes, we wait a little late for people who come in a little later. We serve at the time we serve because people need to get to wherever they need to get to,
Mhm.
sign in, stay for the night if they have a place. So we try to keep that in mind as well.
I think it's very important for the coalition to continue to do what they're doing because, especially in the spirit of Thanksgiving, we're approaching Thanksgiving. It's all about family, eating, laughter, and it sounds like you just don't focus on just the giving food part, but you also focus on giving the attention that they so desire, like giving the love, talking to them. Like you said, you celebrating birthdays, like recognizing that even though you're homeless, we still care. We want to share your birthday and sit down and talk to them. And I also know that you have programs, and if you can talk about the programs that you also are doing and trying to expand and open up to do.
So our main program is the Monday night dinner,
Mhm.
and that will always be our main program. That's what we started on. And years ago, when Oasis Coalition of Boston was under different leadership, they had a book club open up, and we've had that going since as well. That's run by Sam Hurwitz. He's one of the board members, and he's graduated just like me from Suffolk. And him and Jen really take control of that book club, and they usually read books about changing lives.
Okay,
And-
like a motivation
yeah,
type of.
Yep.
Okay.
And then they sit down on Thursday, and they have some leftover food, and they go through the book and talk about it. Our other programs we've had in the past is the women's group and the sock walk, and we're working on restoring those as we transition. But the sock walk is pretty much what it sounds like. It's we take in donations of socks, and we go out and we hand them out to people that need. Believe it or not, one of the most requested items and more important items is your socks.
Mm-hmm. Keep your feet warm.
We just buy socks like it's nothing from Walmart. For most people, they haven't changed their socks in a very long time, and you're always on your feet. And people's shoes, especially out here, aren't always the best. And the best way to protect yourself against that is a good pair of socks. And we've also had the women's group, which focuses on empowering women that are in need and giving them the best resources, informing them. Women are sometimes the most vulnerable people out there if they're homeless or close to it.
Mhm.
So we try to provide an atmosphere for them as well.
Especially if you're a mom and you're trying to provide for your child, but it's hard because of your means and financial stability. And I think it's always good to have like a women's group to sit down and talk to women, motivate them, let them know that it's not over. You can still pick up where you left off and start going back to school, going back to work. I think that if we have things like your programs and resources, we can help them become better people in their communities. And as you have these programs and starting to develop some of the other programs, who do you look to be part of those programs, like to speak? And do you look for someone? Do you look for someone that that is is from different organization to come and speak, or anyone who's willing to participate in that group can just come in and give their time?
It's really that. It's really anyone who can come in to give their time. It's anyone who wants to be part of the community, who wants to participate. We really encourage people to come.
Our leader, Jen Whitmore, she's also worked at the Polis Center. She's for a very long time, I would say at least a decade, has been involved with community outreach. She
Okay.
dedicates a good portion of her life to it, and she's an inspirational woman, a very powerful leader. You know, we huge respect amongst anyone who knows her, and she would normally take charge of those things and be able to talk. She does that at the Monday night dinner when people need to talk. They go straight to Jen. Where's Jen? And she'll sit down with them and give them the time of day and talk for however long you need to talk and get it off your chest.
Yeah, she's like an advocate for those who people are not listening to.
Yeah, she's amazing.
And what are some of the things that Oasis Coalition is going to continue to do, is trying to do, or trying to venture off, if any, so that they can get themselves out there more? Because I've never heard of you, but I went through your information and your website, and I felt that, you know, instead of just focusing on the things that people are not doing, it's important to grab on to the things that people are doing to help people, especially underserved people in the community of Boston. Do you have anything else that you're doing that you want to expand on doing so that people like myself and others in the community can get involved?
Well, yeah, like we said, we're trying to restart that women's group program
Okay.
in Sock Walk, for one, and also the website that's up there, the Oasis Coalition of Boston.org, is outdated information. That's our old leadership and our old space. The programs are pretty much the same, but we're updating our website, and you know, Kat has done a great job so far with helping get our image out there with our Instagram, our official Instagram, Oasis Coalition. She does a great job with all that, and what we're trying to do is stabilize and then grow. We're really working on that because we can only do so much until we run out of, you know, money, resources, or what have you. And so what we're trying to do is really focus on making sure that this dinner that we have, first of all, continues to go on, and then we can improve our size and then get our name out there, that kind of stuff.
Okay, and anyone can volunteer. Like, how do you
Anyone.
seek for volunteers? Is there like a specific place they go, or it's just a walk-in volunteer type of thing?
It really is a walk-in volunteer type of thing. Because you found this from the Instagram. It's on the Instagram. I've had multiple people contact us and say, how can I get involved? How can I volunteer? And it's really just, you can come in, we'll inform you of like kind of what we do, you know, we'll put on gloves. It's a really like community-based,
Right, family type of thing.
it really is, yeah. And like everyone's involved with helping, you know, cut up carrots or do whatever it is that we're doing. And then it really is just a walk-in type of deal, and you can just come in. And we do it through different schools. We do it by word of mouth. That's how we try to expand and get more people to either like donate or sponsor a dinner or just come and volunteer.
Okay, and what makes you different from any other organizations that does the same or a little bit different than what you're doing?
I guess what makes us a little different is that we focus on really on the dinner atmosphere,
Right.
which people sit down and it's, you know, the food is not just the most important part. It's, you know, the warm atmosphere. Sometimes someone's playing a piano and, you know, we're serving food and we're asking what you need, and we try to have special different treats and desserts. And I guess also it's, we're a really close-knit group. The Oasis board we've all known each other for a long time, and we all have great ideas on how we need to do it, and sometimes you don't see behind the scenes. You see the dinner presentation, everything like that, but sometimes it's like a fire sale to try and get things.
Yeah.
Something comes up and happens, and so maybe with other groups, They're a little more stable, but we just really fight to get it done, and we haven't missed a meal.
That's great.
And
I think that's the most important part.
And this isn't a takeaway at any other organizations. We kind of look at their model and see what they're doing too. But
see what works.
I guess what's different from us is it doesn't really feel like an organization of people. It feels like a big family. And some of the people that have come and been our patrons, we've known them for a long time, years, and they're like family to us.
Okay. And have you seen the increase in immigration, like people that are say that are not legal in the country, but has been coming? Like, has it been increased as far as people coming in searching for food and looking for a place to stay? Do you guys allow people to stay in the organization if they don't have a place to stay, or is it strictly just food?
It's strictly just food because
Okay.
Old West Church is our host, and it's a church, and so they obviously don't have
Right,
like
shelter.
Yeah, they do a lot to accommodate us to begin with, getting us a new alcove,
Mm-hmm.
getting us a new fridge, and their financial director and his wife volunteer with us all the time, and they love having us.
Okay.
As far as the immigration thing goes, we haven't seen either one way because we don't
Okay.
ask questions. You
That's-
just come in and sit down and have a
It's a
meal.
good- yeah. Just you don't have time to. It's
No.
not. It's a free judgment zone.
It really is, yeah.
Yeah.
And to the other point that we were making about how it's a family dinner, like obviously, Josh was saying we don't take down names,
Mhm.
but at the same time, like we know a lot of people's names just because it is a community. Like
Yeah.
we say hello to people by name, we make them feel welcome and like seen and stuff like that.
To acknowledge them,
Yeah.
rather.
And they're excited to see us too, and we're excited to see them.
Yeah.
Say, hey, come back next week. We got this going on.
Okay, that's good, and I just wanted to commend you guys. You're doing a wonderful job in the community of Boston. We need more people like you. Can you just give us any website information, email addresses where people who are tuning in and watching this, they can go and get information about Oasis Coalition and what you're doing in the community, how they can even provide food and resources so that you can continue to do the work, because it gets expensive after a while. And by the grace of God, you have not missed a meal yet, which is good. But I would like more people to know about the organization, where they can get information, and how they can donate.
Thank you so much. So first of all, you can get information from our Instagram and Facebook, which are both at Oasis Coalition, and then our Instagram is at Oasis Coalition, and our Facebook is at Oasis Coalition of Boston. We're working on getting our website updated, but for now, just try to contact us through that. You can DM us, and then we also have an email. We have an Oasis Coalition at outlook.com. So anything for that. Anyone can reach out if they want to do donations, sponsoring, or just confused about how you come in to sign up for volunteering, anything like that. We're always 24/7. We're answering the questions and stuff like that.
Thank you so much. And again, thank you to all my listeners and all my viewers who are watching Voice of Reason Boston. That's what we're all about, sharing the social and criminal justice issues that are happening in our community. We are here to help other organizations to spread the word, to spread the love. And if you would like to donate to Oasis Coalition, feel free to contact them. I will also have information on my Facebook page. And if you have any questions for me, definitely email me at voiceofreasonboston@gmail.com. I'm also on Instagram, Voice of Reason Boston, and I'm also on Facebook, Voice of Reason Boston as well. Thank you for tuning in. Hope to see you all again next Saturday.